Hey y'all,
Hey.
welcome back to our channel. I am Stephanie
And I am Valentine.
and we are
Four
Journeys. If you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video. If you're not new, please comment, let us know, tell us hey in the comments or something. And if you are new, if you would please like, comment, subscribe, share to our channel. You can find us on TikTok at 4Journeys4 and on YouTube at 4Journeys, and Journeys is spelled Journies. And let's get into this topic.
Let's get into this topic. I think I'm gonna like this one.
I think so too.
When
I spell Journeys, I hear the Webby song Independent. IND. I hear that as I'm saying it. I kind of hear it in the background.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either, but I kind of hear it like I'm rapping or something.
J-O-U.
Somebody, if you got some beats or something,
we gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, they can be a song. Okay, what are we talking about today?
Balancing life and obedience.
Okay. Balancing life and being obedient. When I think of balancing life, how to balance life, the first thing that comes to my mind is boundaries.
Ooh, but this is the thing. Boundaries and standards.
Yes.
That is most definitely. Yes. So let's keep it, keep it separate.
Yeah.
Because it is most definitely two separate things. Yeah. Okay.
Boundaries, because without boundaries, your life is not going to be balanced, because you're going to feel overwhelmed with either saying yes to things that you should say no to. You're going to feel overwhelmed with feeling to serve all the time and not having any time to yourself to recharge.
Right.
Boundaries with finances, knowing when you should spend and when you shouldn't spend. That would cause your financial life to be out of balance if you don't have any boundaries there. In relationships, friendships, romantic, family, whatever type of relationship, if you don't have any boundaries in those relationships, you're going to give more than you can, pour more than you can. What do you think about when you hear balance in life?
Time to myself.
Okay.
And I need it. I think with my age and me growing up and figuring out who Valentine is, the more I like spending time by myself. I love being around people and I love going out, but I need that time where I can reflect, where I can be by myself, where I can just spend time by myself.
Yeah.
And I think that is me balancing my life. I go to work and I work from home, but I've been in the hospital for the last 2 weeks, just training or whatever. And so the drive is terrible. The people during the drive is terrible. And then when you get home, all I want to do, Stephanie, is take off my clothes, take a bath or a shower, and I just want to just let it all go. And I think that is the important part for me in balancing my life, is finding time to myself.
That keeps you balanced.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's the number one thing for me is being by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the conversation we had this week, and I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but as the week went on and the weekend has gone on and we're now here on Sunday, church, I listened to church this morning, I watched church this morning. I was watching TD Jakes and he was talking about timing. And before church, before today, I remember thinking all weekend, I think I'm realizing that some things happen over time, and you may find yourself in a certain season. Like I might see you in a certain season and I might think, well, why can't you just do this way? And then you might see me in a certain season and you might think, wow, why she just won't get this like this? But it's like sometimes you're just timing.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time to get to a certain season. It
Yep.
takes time to get to a certain point where you know what boundaries to put up
Mm-hmm.
with people,
Yep.
and to unapologetically put up those boundaries
Mm-hmm.
with people.
Yep.
It takes time to know your standards.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go back to that. Standards. You said standards versus boundaries.
Standards.
Okay, so what's the difference? Standards versus boundaries.
Standards never change.
Okay.
Boundaries do.
Okay.
And I think that is the clear indication of what the difference is.
Okay.
My standards are my standards.
Okay.
You know, what I like is what I like.
Mm-hmm.
And that can go back and forth because, you know, as we get older, like taste buds,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they change.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a standard.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
standard is what I'm willing to take for the rest of my life.
Okay.
You know, what I'm willing to put up with
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of my life.
Okay.
My standard is he's going to have a job.
Always. Even when you were young?
Always. You're going to have to come with a job.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is no me taking care of a man. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. I want you to meet me where I'm at. Mm-hmm. I have a job, you have a job. I have a car, you have a car. Mm-hmm. You know, those are standards. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So meeting me where I am, boundaries, mm-hmm. you know, is very different because my boundaries may change from mm-hmm. time to time. You know, it may be, my boundary may have been, well, you know, I'm going to turn off my phone on the weekends, or I'm not going to talk on the telephone on Sundays, mm-hmm. and I'm going to do it I'm not going to talk on the telephone on Sundays for a month. Mm-hmm. That's a boundary that I'm putting up for that month. Yeah. Shopping. Mm-hmm. I go on and off. Like I may say, okay, I'm going to shop for the month of June, mm-hmm. July, August, and September. If it is not something that I need, mm-hmm. I am not going to buy. Yeah. I think that would be considered my boundary. Yeah. You know, those are the boundaries that I'm putting around me mm-hmm. for this particular time mm-hmm. to keep me safe. Yeah. What I will and won't tolerate in a friendship is about the same thing that I will and won't tolerate in a man relationship. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't at any point mm-hmm. of our friendship mm-hmm. get to disrespect me mm-hmm. and think that it's okay. That's mm-hmm. not a boundary. Yeah. That's a standard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think people sometimes get it intertwined. They get it mixed up mm-hmm. when you say I have a standard versus I have a boundary. Mm-hmm. They're very different. Yeah. Very different. Yeah. So
I think sometimes standards or boundaries can dictate people's standards, or people allow it to. I think people allow sometimes boundaries to dictate their standards. Like, for example, in a relationship, if you have a standard of, I'm not going to date anybody who doesn't have any income coming mm-hmm. in. And it may be a boundary where right now I'm in a boundary area in my life where I'm giving grace, mm-hmm. you know, mm-hmm. or I'm changing my way of thinking, my mindset, because I'm usually just like, no to this, no to that, no to this. But maybe I need to start saying yes to some things. So you start kind of changing your boundaries, which sometimes can change your standards. Mm. How do you balance keep not allowing your boundaries to dictate your standards?
There's two things.
Okay.
One, mm-hmm. what do I tell you? Stay true to who you are.
Yes.
The one thing that I set out to do, Stephanie, mm-hmm. is know who Valentine is. Yeah. I know what I will accept. Mm-hmm. I know what I won't accept. Mm-hmm. I know what I will do. Mm-hmm. I know what I won't do. Mm-hmm. That's just me. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, it took me a while to get there. Mm-hmm. But my mother instilled in us mm-hmm. that if we don't stand for something, mm-hmm. we'll fall for anything. Yeah. Stand true in who you are mm-hmm. is what keeps me steady in my course. Yeah. It keeps me steady mm-hmm. in knowing that my standard is my standard, mm-hmm. and that's not going to change. Yeah. My boundaries, like I said, will, but I think it's just knowing who you are, mm-hmm. staying true to who you are. Yeah. My second one, God. Yeah. Let me tell you something
about that, about Jehovah Jireh, by Elohim, baby, Elohim.
Let me tell you. Oh, let me tell you something. Okay. Stephanie, I was in a horrible relationship. This is real. Mm-hmm. This is as real as it can be. Mm-hmm. Fighting, lying, cheating. And I think despite of me being who I was and knowing who I was and standing true in who I was, and I felt like the situation was bigger than me, I knew that there was going to have to be something bigger than me to handle the situation that I found myself in, because the boundaries didn't work, and the standard was there. He had the standard,
right?
But the fighting, the lying, the cheating, and you loving somebody changes how you feel. So in order to get out of it, I had to get on them knees. Had to get on them knees and pray about that thing.
It's a corporate burn.
What I'm telling you, I had to figure out how to get out of it.
Yeah.
And no matter what I did, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't brave enough. I couldn't get out of it. I started praying, Stephanie, every night. God, please remove this. Please remove this. Please remove this. And this is a funny thing about praying. You don't ever know how it's going to be removed. You're just asking. You're asking, God, you see it. You know what I'm going through. You know the burden that I'm bearing. You know me. I'm your child. Please fix this. Please get me out of this.
Yeah.
He ended up going to prison. He ended up going to prison.
Yeah.
And because of that, it gave me the space I needed, not only to get out of it, but to find my way back to me.
Yeah.
So to me, when things seem too big, too impossible for me, I know that it's not too impossible for God.
Yeah.
So I have to constantly, go, constantly pray. I have to constantly keep myself in the loop with him, keep talking to him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing, staying true to who I am and having that relationship with God.
Yeah. A lot of things is going in my head right now.
Well, get them all out.
I'm hearing a lot. A lot's going in there.
Come on.
Lots going on. Because
bring it on out.
Because one thing that stood out to me, that popped in my head, a question of, what if you didn't have that instilled in you, and so you didn't have that standard set for you at a young age, or because a lot of things start in that child stage.
Yeah.
A lot of it, that's the foundation. A lot of it starts there. And what if you didn't have those standards? What if you are going through life learning to have standards, or learning what your standards should be, figuring that on your own? What would you say to someone that's in that place? Like, I know what I would say, just from knowing you and having a relationship with you and thinking about my own life. I would say, just start looking at you. What makes you happy? What do you want out of life? Start focusing on you. What works for you? I think a lot of us don't realize that sometimes we have to relearn things, or we have to teach or reparent ourselves, even as adults. And it's okay to do that, because our parents didn't always get it right. They all taught us some things, but then there were some things that maybe they didn't recognize that we needed of them,
or maybe it wasn't poured into them.
So that, yes,
you know what I'm saying. So if it's not poured into them,
they can't pour it into you. Exactly.
They only pour into you what's been poured into them. So when you say life balance, when you say balance in general, balance starts with you.
Yeah.
It's you. It's figuring out you.
Right.
Like you said, what you like, what you don't like, what you will, what you won't. It's all about what it starts right here.
Yeah.
So despite if you were poured into or not, and trust me when I tell you, Stephanie, there are a lot of women that you have more of that were not poured in to than you do have that were.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, learn you. That's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Is learning you, because you've been with you all your life.
Yeah.
You know, even in your 20s when I did everything wrong. I say that I say that all the time. I did everything wrong. But I did everything wrong because I'm trying to figure out what Valentine likes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's okay to fall. It's okay to slip. It's okay to make the wrong decision 60 times.
Yeah.
Because some people take that long to learn it. It's okay that you took 60 times to learn that he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's okay that you did the same thing over and over again, and it took you the 60th time to learn it. The important thing is that you learn it.
Right.
And in that learn comes balance.
Right.
In that learn, you learning who you are, you learning what you like, you learning what you don't like, comes balance. Because you're figuring it out.
Yeah.
But once you get it, and you understand it, then it makes the balance right. It makes the balance complete. It makes it better. You know, so I can't tell you that I've not made the same mistakes 60 times. I did. I have. I've been a teenager. I've been 20. I've been 30. I'm in my 40s now. And I tell you, everything that I did in my 20s came back and bit me in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? My 40s, I'm cruising in my 40s, literally. If it don't bring me peace, if it don't bring me money, if it doesn't help my family, I want nothing to do with it. And that's just my standard. You know, and I don't mind saying no. Nope. No way. Not happening.
Ain't gonna be able to do it.
Find somebody else to do it.
Find somebody else to do it.
You know, I don't have any problem saying no. I don't. So that's what I would say. Figure it out. Figure out who you are. Figure out what you like. Figure out what makes you happy. And then once you figure that out, it doesn't matter how you report into. When you figure out what it is you want, everything else, I think, falls into place.
I think another thing is, because I don't want anybody just going straight to Google and trying to figure out where to start, because you'll get so much information. Start with God.
Absolutely.
Start with God. If you're not opening up that Bible, if you're going to Google, Google, who do God says I am? Because he knew you before you came out of your mother and she parented you. He knew you before you got here. So he know who you are. He know who you're supposed to be. So while you're going through that journey and you're figuring out, you know what, life has not been working for me up until now. I don't like the things that's been happening to me. I don't like the way my life has been going. I'm here. I wake up. I'm able to do something about it. Where should I start? Start with God. Open up that Bible. Go to church. If you don't want to go, you don't feel comfortable going, find something online. But start with God, because that's how you're going to find out who you are, what your standards should be through him. Not what Google say, not what they say on Instagram. YouTube, I mean, YouTube is, you know, university is good, you know, because, you know, for journeys, we're going to direct you to God. That's where you need to go. But go back to God, go to God and let him help you figure out your standards and who you're supposed to be.
I definitely agree with that in every way. And I think that's an important foundation. I think that's an important foundation to have. I think that's an important foundation to stay with. And don't get me wrong, we all get off track. We all lose our way.
It's a daily battle. It's a daily battle. It is daily. Like one time of praying, that's not enough. Oh, I prayed this morning. That's not enough.
It's a good start.
It's a good start. You start your morning with praying, but you need to all day, every minute, every second.
And God,
every second.
Who are you?
I heard you since this morning, but you need me right now in this second. But who? What? I got so many children.
Yes.
Where you come from?
Where you been?
Yeah.
What you been doing? Do you think that accountability, holding yourself accountable, is an important part of balance?
Yes. I think that one way to tell if your life is off balance or you are off balance, if you keep finding yourself in the same situations, you know, You keep finding yourself, oh, everywhere I work at, I have issues with people. Or you constantly having issues with friends, losing friends, gaining friends, having these on and off relationships. Certain things, there are certain things that are going to let you know, hey, hey, you need to, look at you. And that's when you take accountability, and that's when that helps you get on track and get balanced, because then you're able to see yourself. If you don't know how to take accountability, you're off balance. I don't care how much money you have in your bank account, what's going on for you, how many trips you're able to take. I don't care what all you're able to do. If you're not able to take accountability, you're not balanced, because we're all somebody's villain, and you're not always right. Everybody is not out against you. There are some things that you do and you cause.
Ooh. Now I think you done hit something right there.
I did.
Oh, I think you done hit something right there.
We're all a villain in the story.
Are we?
We are all a villain in the story. I had to accept that. I think that sometimes, like I said, trauma trigger us to think a certain way. Certain traumas, like me being molested and raped, that triggered me to have a victim mentality, to where it felt like someone been upset with me, or me finding myself in a situation that wasn't shining a light on me. Well, if they wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have done that. Oh, it just didn't, I couldn't see my part in it, because I had this victim mentality that if somebody wronged me, or if somebody did something that hurt my feelings, or said something to me, or didn't like me, it must be because of them. It's not because of anything I'm doing. It's not because I'm doing something wrong. And sometimes you unintentionally do things wrong.
Why do you think it's so hard for us to see ourselves as villains?
I think it's hard too, because kind of going back to that trauma, we all have, I always say we're just adult kids. And even when we grow up, you could be 60 years old. Something that happened to you at 5 or 12, that's still in there. You might have forgiven the person for it. You might not even think about it. But that trauma to that 5-year-old boy or girl, or that 12-year-old boy or girl, is still there. So there are certain things that might trigger that child, that 5-year-old or that 12-year-old, to come out. And I think it's hard to see that when you don't recognize that. You have to do self-work. We don't think we need to, but we do. We have to be conscious of ourselves all the time. We have to be aware of ourselves all the time. And I think it's easy to wake up in the morning and say, I got to go to work. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. I got to go do this, and just go on about your day. Then let me get up. Oh man, I'm late. Why am I late? Because I overslept. Why I overslept? Because I stayed up late. I stayed up past the time I should have. Like we make excuses for the things that we do. Oh, well, such and such came late, or well, this person did that. Focus on you.
And I think that's the problem that I have with, I think that's why I surround myself around positive people, because like you said, sometimes we're not able to identify that we are the villain. And in every story, I can't tell you that I've been the hero, because I wasn't. I've been the villain. But I think, Stephanie, that we as people don't want to say we were the villain in the story, because we just don't want to see ourselves as doing anything bad to anybody. Even though, like you said, we do.
Yeah.
We say things, we do things, but it's easier to say, oh, well, I did that because. Nope, there is no because. Because at the end of the day, we make choices.
Right.
Just because it happened to you doesn't mean that you have to respond in the way that it was done to you.
Right.
Sometimes we play the victim, we play the villain, and not even care that we're playing the villain.
Yeah.
And we don't even care that we're playing the villain, but not only that, we don't see that we're playing the villain. Soon as somebody pointed out, like you said, oh, I did it because of, no, that doesn't make it right. It does not make it right because they said it to you or because they done it to you. Right. When are you going to see your worth, see who you are, and stand up and say, you know what? I choose to be the bigger person. Yeah. I choose not to be the villain in this story. Right. I choose to lead by example. Yeah. And that's why I say it comes back to knowing who you are, knowing the standards, knowing your boundaries. Will I play the villain? Yes, I probably will play the villain unconsciously. Because there is that mean streak in us that we do things out of sheer meanness. There are things in us that we do it sheer out of spite. But I think we got to do better. Yeah. We have to find the love or the pity, whichever one, to make a conscious decision on, I'm not going to keep hurting this person because they keep hurting me. Yeah. Balance. Let me separate myself from this person because of what they're causing, or because I'm choosing to be the worst person I can be around this person. Yeah. Let me separate myself from this so I won't have to tolerate it anymore. Yeah. So I won't have to do it anymore. So I don't have to be mean anymore. So I don't have to be this person that you continue to want to bring out of me. I choose not to do that.
And that's accountability. And one thing that I'm thinking, well, how do we do that? God is like, I'm not trying to sound preachy. I'm not trying to, give your life to God. But
give your life to God.
Give your life to God. But when you start building that relationship with God, so if you don't have any standards and you're finding yourself, you don't have any balance in life, the first thing to do, seek God. And I say that because even during those moments when you're dealing with a difficult person and that person is bringing out that mean side of you that you don't want to bring out, God helps you to see that there are so many people in the Bible that were villains, and he still used them. Yep. There were so many people that did bad things, and he still used them. There were so many people that didn't deserve his grace or his mercy, but he still gave it freely without them having to give him anything. So when you start building that relationship with him, it helps you be aware of yourself, because then you're able to say, you know what? I was just wrong. I shouldn't have talked about her like that. But God, she made me mad. And you know, you have that source to where there's no judgment there. He already knows you, and you can freely go to him and talk to him about why you responded that way. And then you may be able to go back and say, you know what? I'm sorry that I did that. You really made me mad because you did A, B, and C. You're able to communicate better. You're able to see things better. Like, he should be the center of all things, because all of that, well, how or what, we're human. We are not capable of dealing with tomorrow. We're too weak to deal with whatever tomorrow may bring. We are only strong enough to deal with today. And if you have him through every second, every moment, with everything that you're dealing with, that, well, how you'll be able to get through. You'll have more controls over your emotions, because a lot of the times it's our emotions. It's that mean emotion, that sad, I'm angry, I'm happy. That emotion is being called out on when somebody triggers something in you. If somebody does something to upset you, all right, either sadness, fear, anger, whatever, however you handle things as a child. If somebody made you mad and you cried, you threw a tantrum on the floor, that's what you're going to do when you're in a grown up and somebody make you mad. You're going to throw a tantrum. You're going to, if you were a child and you did something and, mama, I didn't break the table. Clearly you broke the table, but I didn't do it. Clearly you broke the table. So if that's how you handle things as a child, when you're an adult and things are pointed out about you, you're going to deny it. Yep. We're just big kids.
I think the hardest part about our adulthood is escaping at a child. That childhood that it's the hardest thing to get over. It's the hardest thing to control. We spend a lifetime as adults trying to fix what the heck happened to us in our childhood. And it sucks. It sucks. And I'm not telling you that my childhood was like a big bowl of flowers. You know, I'm not saying that. But what I will say is I've had a pretty good dang blame childhood. I really have. You know, so I think a lot of who I am reflects my good childhood. You know, my being poured into. You know, I lived in a house with my mom and dad married. You know, I did it all wrong because I've never been married, of course, and had kids out of wedlock, but I was poured in properly. I was showed that. So I think being an adult and finding my way was a little easier because my childhood was easy, because I was poured into properly. So I think I've always longed for that balance, that knowing not only who I am, but what I will stand for, what I won't stand for. But I think my circle becomes more and more complete with God. My circle becomes more and more together, seems to be more put together the more that I allow Him to lead me. The more I allow Him to guide me, the more I see Valentine for who she is, for what she's capable of. So before the podcast, I'm nervous every time. My anxiety is on high starting Friday. It's, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do this. It goes from Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. It's an all-time high. And I'm just gonna quit. I'm gonna call Stephanie and tell her I just can't do it. And then it seems like as soon as I say, and it's only the day of us recording, like it's like I say I can't do this, and it's like this overwhelming sense of, but you can, and you will. So I think that that's just God saying, it's bigger than you, Valentine. It's literally bigger than you. I get up every morning and I say, you know, I say thank you for waking me up. I thank you for everything that God is in my life. But more importantly, I thank God for separating me from things that shouldn't. And you know what, Stephanie? Some things we don't even see. I don't even see that car accident I probably missed. I don't see, you know, a robbery. You know, for some reason I was graced from it. It missed me. You know, I ran a stoplight Saturday when I was going into Plano. And like literally I'm coming through the light. And for whatever reason I slowed down just a little bit. And the car ran the red light. And I was thinking in my mind, if I would have been going maybe 60, 65, that's how it would have done. But by grace, the car goes through. You know what I'm saying? So I just think about the things that should have missed me, or the things that I didn't come in contact with because He loves me so much. And I think the older that I get, the more balanced my life gets. The more I see His presence. The more I see Him. The more I operate the way He choose, you know, the way He's chose for me to operate. Do I get sidetracked? Yes. And that's what I have to understand. I'm human. I'm in flesh. I am tempted by the world. I am. But I try every day. I try every day to be a good child. I try every day to be a good mother. I try every day to be a good friend. But what I will not stand for is somebody to break my balance in life. I just won't do it. And I think that it just becomes who I am.
Yeah.
And just the way I choose to do things.
This is a good conversation.
A wonderful conversation.
Yes, I think
liked it.
Me too. I loved it.
I
If
did too.
you are somebody that feels like your life is off balance and have been off balance, and you don't like where you are, you feel like you should be way ahead, I challenge you to take some time, whether it's 5 minutes a day, whether it's on your lunch break, whatever time you have to yourself, take some time, get a notebook, and write down what makes you happy. Start figuring that out. And if you don't know what makes you happy, that is a clear indication that maybe you have been living your life for other people and not for yourself. So, and also include God on that journey. Include God on that journey of, am I where I want to be? Is my life balanced? If my life is not balanced, where should I start looking? Include, it is a must. Do not do that part of your journey without God, because if not, the enemy will slither his way in. Absolutely. And he will direct you somewhere else, and then you start thinking you need to be an influencer. You start thinking you need to be things that you are not even qualified for, and things that is not even a part of your path. So if you are trying to find balance in your life, take some time to yourself and include God on that journey.
I absolutely agree with everything Stephanie has said. I'm a big believer in knowing who you are, and however you have to get on that path of learning who you are is important. I think and I believe that it will do a world of difference. It will show you things that you didn't even know. Learn to love yourself. Begin there. Focusing on God, allowing Him to be your number one source.
Yes.
Understanding Him and allowing Him in to your life where you can get some understanding of who you are.
Yeah.
Thank you for always supporting us. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If there is anything that you'd want to hear me and Stephanie talk about on our journey, please don't hesitate to comment. Please
drop it in the comments.
And we will most definitely do it. I don't know which episode, but we will most definitely include it. Today we kind of got a little off path a little bit. We started talking about things, adding things in, but I think it's all about the journey and what we're feeling at the time, where the conversation takes us. I think that's important, that we don't veer off. We don't veer off and not go with what we're thinking or what we're feeling. It was a message in there for someone.
Yeah.
I just hope it gets there. We love you.
Thank you. Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey.
If you haven't already, like, share, and comment. If you want to see more videos like this pop up on your timeline, click that notification bell.
Click the notification. We got a notification bell?
Yep. Yep. Click the notification bell. Subscribe. First, you got to subscribe. Then you got to click that notification bell. Okay. First, subscribe. I don't have an attitude with y'all, but first subscribe. Then click the notification bell to get notifications about every time we're posting a video. And don't forget to enjoy the journey and bring God along with you as you are enjoying your journey.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.